Welcome back from the commercial break. We are continuing with our discussion, and as we come to the last session, we'll be very much critical as we share with you information, dear viewers and listeners of Smart 24 TV, to look at how best we can utilize the hydroelectricity, the energy power, and we look at different types, as you highlighted on some, including the nuclear, which we are still lacking.
Which we are developing.
Yes. But not yet with us. That's what I'm saying. We're lacking it matches with the hope. Thank you for being a positivist. And also being aware that we have other sources, including the biogas.
Yes.
The biogas, but it seems to be not the best for us, especially the use of firewood, the use of charcoal. And it seems to have degraded our environment.
That is biomass.
Yeah, biomass.
Yes.
Yeah, biomass, not biogas.
Yes.
At a tune of 2.3 billion, according to the report with us, we lose it because of depending much more on firewood and charcoal. And there is a requirement, this is the information we're intending to share and then analyze, 2.09 million tons as per the report of 2019, of which is the charcoal required, and that of course is hazardous on our environment in terms of environmental management and finally the climate change. That's why I applaud your sector is cross-cutting. It needs serious attention, because bridging this gap, as we look at the challenges that would like maybe to promise Ugandans how they should be addressed, the reliance on the biomass sources, the constrained electricity transmission and distribution, the limited access to off-grid solutions. We look at long lead time of energy projects, those which have not, completed. I will ask you one of our own in Kabale, Chizinga. That one I stored for many years. I passed by it when I was some time back training in the community. And you also look at all levels of energy efficiency, how we are using the energy, and I ask you that question, which we will conclude with, how we can use our energy for efficiency, meaning there must be productivity, there must be profitability out of it, because the efficiency, if it's only the light electricity, then we have power. That can't make sense. You can a proud energy sector where you reach to around 146 districts, and each district is having an industry. I am dreaming like that. Maybe I may be the next man who will cause that one to happen. Please share with us.
But why not? We are encouraging.
Yes.
Every time our ministers, my minister, for instance, the minister in charge of investment, the president, the speaker, every time some of these dignitaries step out of the country, they are encouraging investors to come to Uganda. When they come, you need to have land. You need to have a road connecting you to that land where you could set up facility. But most importantly, there must be a firm promise from government that power is going to be taken there, because power is the driver. And the good news is we are able, as government, we are able to take power to where investors decide to invest in this country. We are able to do that. The reason we have been aggressively putting in place transmission lines going to different parts of the country, one is to evacuate power from the generation plants wherever they are, but most importantly, to take power where it is required. So substations, almost in every district, or at worst in a region, there must be a sizable substation. A substation, when it is somewhere, at least you know that the distribution companies can easily run lines from there to the people, to where people can set up industries. At every industrial park, there should be at least a substation. People can come in and set up their infrastructure to produce.
You know our dear guest, Mr. Yes, our dear guest, Mr. Solomon Muita. I continue to widen my thinking in a positive way, yet ambitious. And I look at also those who are planners, much as I don't discredit them, and I come back to you and imagine, as we come to the close of this program, how best has the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development looked at the available opportunities and caused them be realized. That's the area of improvement of efficiency. We have how many schools in this country? Secondary schools and also primary schools. Secondary schools in themselves, and before we go to university and tertiary institutions, these are not only consumption stations, centers, but we could look at them as production centers. Number one, they can pay the cost of electricity. Number two, there should have been a deliberate understanding, MOU, with this school that they will do something which will feed into the economy, especially to improve on export. The metal welding, the kind of these tables which we are using here, at times which are imported from abroad, they are supposed to be being made at that level. And that's when now you could see the economy is running. You find that the education, the extension of power, number two, not only for these industrial cottages, but also for improvement of IT. But the deliberate plan of how you are strategically connecting this power for accessibility and for efficiency, it seems to be at a slow pace in regard to real tangible development. And I don't know what you can package into that, but we believe there is much needed to connect properly.
Yeah, Uganda is developing. Remember, we spent so many years in civil strife as a country. And we lost so much time, so much did not move according to plan because of the dark period we went through as a country. Now, when this government took over, things, much, at least we are even able to think strategically the way you're suggesting, and so many ideas on the table, and so many people picking interest in the country to come and invest, to say, at least give me a 3-phase power here and there. Many people are able to think like that because of this phase. But, the phase we are into is just like the way we came out of COVID. When you're from a lockdown, then the economy just opens. When it opens, you remember we've had issues of fuel shortage, for instance. Partly it was because the economy is opened at the same time and the demand short and the supply could not match the demand. Same to this power issue. When this government took over,
those are good years. I don't want to go
there are many years. There are many years, but on one hand,
yes,
you're developing your generation capacity, because previously you had 180 megawatts only as a country. So the dream was, can we develop capacity? So when you build capacity, now you say, now we have the power. Then the next thing is, can people start utilizing this power? That's how you start investing in transmission lines, and then bring the reputable distribution companies to start taking power to the people and start projects. And now, which have become programs like rural electrification, we have electricity efficiency program at the ministry. The Scale-Up project is coming up. It is, we are making steps. They've been baby steps, but they are steps in the right direction. We are going to drive economic growth. People are setting up small, factories in different parts of the country. I went to my village recently. People are set up in Iganga, Chigulu South, where we had a whole vice president from my village. But that time we didn't have enough So we could not, we didn't do much then, but now we have the power. People are setting up milling, factories in the village.
Okay, thank
And
you.
this is what we are looking at. At least we are able to help Ugandans set up businesses, invest even within their
Continue and encourage them in how that can be realized.
Yes, so eventually when you connect them, you have to ensure that the power is not going off. The load shedding you talked about, by the way, load shedding is largely something of yesterday.
Load shedding, I was serving under the office of the leader of opposition, and she comes from Gulu, and not only Gulu, but even here, it seems there is a need of a permanent solution against load shedding. Is load shedding phenomenon a common phenomenon even in other stable, countries which have well generated energy?
Well, load shedding is largely an issue of infrastructure. How reliable are your systems? In Uganda, you need to invest in the infrastructure. We need to get rid of the old infrastructure and replace it. You've been using a transformer which has capacity of maybe 60 households. But in that same locality, people are building, so sometimes you lack the resources to place another transformer in the area, so these people connecting end up overloading it. After a few days, it would blow up, and then you're looking for resources to place another one. But these are issues we are slowly but steadily getting rid of. Yes.
Would like, as we come to the close of our program, to know the substantive recommendation that will overcome the over-reliance on biomass sources in the energy mix, the constraint in electricity transmission and distribution infrastructure, because you mentioned on how at times you are constrained, and as you say, yes, we are making baby steps, but we want to make now run, because we are no longer talking about the war ended the Konyi was wiped 2000. Now we are no longer talking about the war.
But you know how many years it takes to put up a facility which is going to serve you for 50 years.
So now we are believing.
You're not going to put it up in 12 months.
I hear you, sir. We are believing that since now there's no more excuse of war, no more excuse of COVID, the allocation of those funds which were for war, why can't it improve, much more megawatts, and also do much more, create awareness on how we can utilize this energy to translate it to wealth. Me, that's my urge.
We are going to aggressively create awareness. The reason why the ministry has someone like me, I've been in the media, I'm an awareness creation expert, if I may, put it in a simple language. We want to drive the information to the people. To end the issue of reliance of biomass, the ministry actually recently started another project to distribute free cooking gas cylinders to the population, and we are targeting at least 20% of the households. We are distributing 1 million
gas cylinders.
Yes, gas cylinders to the public free of charge. So you get a...
You reserve mine.
No, you just walk to a Total, Starbucks or Shell near you, fill a form, get your LCs to sign it off.
Okay.
And you get a cylinder, 13 kg cylinder,
but
with a burner.
These are stopping much more in towns. They are
No.
much more in towns.
This project is targeting Ugandans, especially those that did not have cylinders before. So we are targeting a Ugandan, especially that one who is not yet connected to power. Because you who is connected to power, we have given you a tariff that will enable you to cook.
Is it enough? It is
what we call a cooking tariff. You buy your power of about 100,000 or so, you should be able to cook on power. I cook on power at my home because of that tariff.
If you can be coming from the energy sector.
No, I connected to the power not because I work in energy. The power I had even before I joined energy. But what I'm trying to say is that the tariff, people just don't know. You try to utilize, you buy energy power of about 100,000.
100,000.
About 100. You should be able to get, it will give you, it will give you about 150 units. Previously, 100,000 would give you below 100 units. Now, because of the lower tariff, which helps people to cook, you're able to get about 150.
So that can someone cook a whole month?
There you can cook a whole month.
A whole month or two?
Yeah, depending on, some people have very big families. Some people have large families, but an average family, it should be able to cook on power for a month at that rate. Mind you, a sack of charcoal ranges between maybe 80,000 and 150. So someone using charcoal may be spending much more. And our gas, you can get gas at an average of 100,000. And gas can take you for 2-3 months. So it's a mindset. We need to help people change their thinking about this. Some people will talk about nino kubobeza toke, you have to use power to kubobeza, but some of these practices are a bit archaic. We need to move on. Using biomass or firewood and charcoal will only make you sick. It is dirty, it is unhealthy. So you're going to use it thinking you're saving money, but you're killing yourself. So we are providing alternatives. You should be able to access gas, or you should be able to cook on electricity. And that is the trend. People need to move.
Thank you so much. And we are coming to the closure of our program. And we realize that you have good information, but at times we need it even to go far beyond this. And I pray you'll consider it. We'll discuss this after. Then we need that kind of motivation, because as you're motivating, I was seeing it to be very much more positive. The efficiency part of it, how we can use the 100,000 and it can turn around your cost, which you are spending on 2 sacks of charcoal, which can go to 120, and you spend something like 100, and yet you spend 3 months. We believe that information is near to many. We appreciate for the work we are doing, but we ask you to do more, because Ugandans want power and they don't want load shedding. That's what I can appeal to you.
Load shedding.
What's your last word to the viewers?
Load shedding is something which is, in fact, the other day my minister had to call Umeme and ask them, why are you running ads of load shedding when we've restored Isimba? We have the power. The power is with us. The people being load shed only have what we call local technical problems. It could be a line vandalized, or it could be a transformer that is faulty. Your responsibility as a power user is to notify the nearest Umeme office or Uganda Electricity Distribution Company closer to you that we don't have power, we need power. They should be able to provide a solution within the shortest possible time.
Thank you, dear Mr. Solomon Mwita, the Public Relations Officer of Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. And we go on as we take it up that indeed it's a work in progress, and that we are moving as a baby, but our appeal to you that you want to run so that we can utilize our potential of energy for productivity. And to the viewers of tonight, it's our aspiration that the government should be much more in charge to ensure that the access to energy is favorable to everyone. Thank you. Good night until we meet next time.